Good afternoon, everybody. This is 𝗙𝗲𝗱 from Career Services with the session that is going to cover how to find what you need in the Illinois Tech Career Services. So thank you, Derek, for being our participant for today. If we have this recording, I'm going to share my screen really quickly so we can talk about it for a second. Derek, you see the screen okay?
Yep, I see you on LinkedIn.
It says Career Services is what you're seeing, right? Illinois
Correct.
Tech Career Services.
Correct.
Good. So the importance of well, instead of me speaking, I'll show you the importance. So for example, this was a testimonial from a student who said the index has tremendously been helpful. It provides great examples to choose from. And this student was particularly thanking us because they secured 2 on-campus jobs and now they're using it to pursue an internship. Giving you a hint, Derek. Could be helpful to you, right?
Correct. And I'm going to see later on what you have to say about it.
This one came from a student. 𝗙𝗲𝗱𝗱 says, thank you for sharing these resources. He's quite confident and excited about sharing future preparations, because obviously he was able to see the content. He was thanking us for compiling this amazing list of resources for all of them. I didn't realize this. This was sent out like 11 months ago, but I didn't realize that it became a comprehensive list that students were using 24/7. And that's why I'm having this recording today to reinforce that with other students, because if there was no explanation like this that's going on, it was just a bunch of links, really. So Lucas, when he first saw this, he was like, wow, this is an amazing list of resources. And then Abhishek is also an alum like yourself. He was saying that it explains step by step and is available 24/7 as a study guide, which is quite helpful. And last but not the list, this just came in over the weekend. This student said they just want to let me know that they were using a lot from the Illinois Tech Career Services study guide. They were getting encouraging answers from the cold contact, which is one of the strategies and tactics that we covered. So for the purposes of everybody, I am going to start from the profile. I happen to be in the Illinois Tech login, and let's start from the profile like so. Once you're in your profile, you want to click the home button on top. And if you visited Illinois Tech Career Services recently, you will see it as a recent item. So you can get a hold of it by clicking the link on the left, or just from the search button, you just go Illinois Tech Career Services. And notice that there are 2 entries. The first entry is the Illinois Tech Career Services person, but the second one is the group. You want the group. If you're not a member, it's going to say join where you're now seeing view posts. If you are a member, then you could go to the group just like this. Any questions so far, Darren? We good?
No questions, very clear.
Awesome. So on top of the group right now, the first content is the index. So you could pretty much click it like this. But if you notice it from our end, we could pretty much pin whatever content it is that we want to highlight with the students. And sometimes if you're not finding the index as the first entry, you can simply scroll down to any content and you can notice that it is a comment in any of the content, subsequent content. So if you notice, just pick one instance of it. So I'm clicking the third one. And now, oh, that was a bad example. Sorry for the recording. I'm going to take it from my personal login. It gets me to reiterate what we just covered. Once you're in the group, you just click the link for the index. And you get to open up what I like to joke around and tell students that this is going to be their best friend when it comes to career services information, because this link, this Google Docs, which is a compilation of links of questions that students have come to career services with, is now available to you 24/7. So in Derek's case, give me a topic for career services. Resume is probably the most obvious, right, Derek?
Yep, resume, job search strategies,
Strategy,
interviews.
interviews. So let me do that. I'm going to do a Control F. You're a Mac user. You're going to do a Command F in your case, right, Derek?
Yep.
Command F or Control F. I'm going to say #resume. And you notice that an entire section with links covering resumes will show up. So since we're at this, I'm going to point out some specific things for you, Derek. Okay. With resume, notice that some of the more important links are highlighted or bolded. So notice how you have workshops that are actually Zoom recordings of sessions with students with different resumes, with different categories or items within the resume that we talk about. And the beauty of this is that they're group sessions. So it's not just Bernie giving comments. The whole group is listening for the results and accomplishments, which is usually the problem with students when it comes to resumes. So you have workshops, you have case studies. Within the case studies, you have the old version and you have the better version. The reason I'm bringing that up is if you see the fourth bullet under hashtag, no, well, it's the sixth bullet for #resume, where it says resume iteration. When you click this link, we showed you #resume. We showed you the workshop sessions. We showed you the case studies. So between all of those activities, you get to come up with your new and improved version of your resume. Questions about what I shared so far, Derek?
No, that looks good to me.
Yes. So this is what I'm talking about. The conversation with a career coach, whether you're speaking to Julie or Nick or BJ, if you go through some of these resources before coming into a resume appointment, then they don't have to teach you the basics, so to speak, and the level of the conversation goes to the next level. And we can get to the better resume results for you much, much sooner versus us having to explain these basics. So the other thing that I want to point out in resume, if you scroll further down, the usual problem with students is the bullets in the resumes. They like to talk about descriptions of the tasks that they did. Whether the work was in the classroom or an internship or another full-time job, the bullets are usually talking about describing the tasks. If you want to stand out, you really want to talk about your accomplishments and results. So I guess I'm not going to go into this right now, but you see where it says describing versus accomplishments and results. All these items, all these bullets are talking about that. I will, however, open the last one that says career log. When I open this up, hope you're taking notes, Derek. The check marks that you see is meant to be a memory jogger for what did you really accomplish or what were your results in this class project or this internship or this job, so that you're not just describing the tasks that you had. Does that make sense?
Yeah, looking at this now, it seems like I've been doing a lot of describing and not
Actually,
showing.
I did too.
Yeah.
In my old resumes before I started doing this work. So good realization. We all did it at some point, but that's what we're trying to teach you not to do if the objective is to stand out. It's very easy to stand out, actually, because everybody's just describing their tasks. When you start calling out your results and accomplishments, you're definitely going to be different from everyone else. Okay. So again, under #resume, you have all of these things that I highlighted. Let's go to another category. I'm going to do Control F, hashtag, what was the other thing you said? Interview. There's a section about interview, desired salary. There's a section about cover letters. I'm just trying to, if you think of any other topics that you'd like to see, let me know. So you have a cover letter section. Another thing that I like to bring out that is not intuitive is a section that's called hashtag mindset. The nature of the beast with job search is that there's highs and lows. You get called for an interview, you send out resumes, you're not getting called back. So the job search is really going up and down. It's crucial that you as job seekers maintain that mindset that you're going to be next. So one of the things that's going to help you out is under anywhere actually in this index where it says success. For this one, there's 25 examples so far. These are testimonials from students who found an on-campus job, internship, full-time job, or whatever it is that they're sharing. They've been deposited into this repository as well, so that you guys, just like an Olympic athlete, right? An Olympic athlete, to prepare for the event, has to focus on their mindset and visualize the finished, their target, their event, so that they can get there. So that's the concept that we're trying to share with you guys out here, in that if the concept is to get to a job sooner versus later, start visualizing with this hashtag mindset. Another category you want to check out, Derek, before I go to the last category that I want to talk about for this?
Not sure I can think of one. You've already listed so many that I could use.
Okay. Have you ever heard of the word networking?
Of course.
So
I should do more of
networking,
it.
I don't like to call it networking because people normally think it's a collection of connections, but what I'd like to highlight is it's really the relationships that will help you find the job. So we call the category hashtag business relations, and it's actually the secret sauce. If people are going through the normal avenues, going to the job boards, one of the biggest things that we keep on hearing is that the US is a referral-based market. So it's not necessarily what you know, it's who you know. So the whole idea out here is that you see all these connect messages, Derek?
I do, and there's lots of them.
You see that they're categorized into 3 groups. The first one says connect cold. It's cold means you don't know these people, so you're connecting with them on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And we have suggestions as to how to do that. But before you go there, I'd like to highlight that there is the section that says wrong way.
The Derek
There's
way.
a right way. Sorry?
The Derek way.
The Derek way. Well,
The current
actually, it's
Derek way.
everybody's way.
The current Derek way.
Yeah, because it's quite an intuitive approach. But if you think about hiring managers, how many of those intuitive messages are they getting? So what you will see in the suggestions for this Connect Cold, 13 examples, are ways to stand out. And let me just click one, for example. The first one is talking about some design principles of what you want to do with your messages. Okay, don't do what's intuitive because you don't stand out. So the suggestion out here is, number 1, is your message short? Number 2, is it worded to elicit a response so that it lays the foundation for a conversation? Okay, the intent isn't just to be a one-shot deal where you send the message out, you get the response. In order to create a business relationship, you want to create something that's text-like, that goes back and forth. So we say the message is short. Actually, I want to say it's ultra short. If it fits into one line, that's best, because if you go into your inbox, you will notice that if you click your inbox, you will notice the short messages. Like Adam out here said, good to be in touch. If this was a sea of messages that go the inefficient way, the wrong way, where people are asking for jobs, then you're definitely going to stand out, and it's quite immediate what it is that you want. So there's more background information to that, obviously, but I just wanted to cover the recommendations. Number one, it's got to be uber short. Number two, it's got to be worded to elicit a response. And the last thing is, what does the last thing say, Darren?
Avoid the no, which immediately make a
Of immediately making a request. Because
Explain
think
that.
about it.
Yeah.
You're reaching out to a stranger. You don't know them. And usually the approach that's being taught out there is, hey, Derek, hiring manager, I really don't know you, but can I get 15 minutes of your time so that we can chat about what I need? Is usually the gist of what people are sending them. So that's a surefire way of getting ignored by the people that you want to connect with. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense now. Yeah.
Yeah, we won't get into it, but the purpose of this recording was actually, like I said, to give you, where people should be looking and focusing their attention. So connect cold are examples of how to stand out with your connection message. Connect practice are alum or staff or friends at IIT that you could practice what's being taught here in the first category. And then the last part was actually created because students were making connections with other folks. And they were like, what the heck do I say now? So connect messaging, this group of messages tells you or gives you ideas as to how to keep the conversation going so that you could create that business relationship. And if you notice, there's also one specific message here that talks about transition. After you've built that relationship with the person, how do you transition into asking them about jobs and switching the focus back to you? Make sense?
Yeah, and I like that there's like the description words to the other side of them, just so you can quickly navigate.
Cool. Outside of that, there's also a hashtag handshake. It talks about how to make a handshake appointment on Loom. But otherwise, I think we've covered everything. Was there anything else from a student standpoint, Derek, that I may have forgotten?
I think the only thing that I experienced was that you need to be in the group just to make sure to like access this. That's the main thing.
Yeah, to access that information. And that's usually a personal message from myself because I'm usually the one who responds to the requests. It's followed up by a message with both the index, or if they don't have those index. So yes, that's kind of like outside of here. And then you have access to the index. Sounds good. Other than that, that's all we wanted to cover for how to find what you need with the index. If you had any questions, please feel free to message myself, 𝗙𝗲𝗱𝗱. The reason I ask students to connect with me directly on LinkedIn is so that you guys have the experience of communicating with a professional, such that when you go connecting up with these professionals looking for those jobs, you've been like, I've been doing this all day, every day. Well, maybe not every day at Illinois Tech, but you get the idea. And the other thing that kind of showed up is because of the sheer number of students connecting with me on LinkedIn, I'm starting to manifest being hard to get a hold of. So part of it is it kind of created this environment where I'm hard to get a hold of. So it's additional practice for folks to get a hold of me, i.e. like a hiring manager, so that you could respectfully and tactfully catch my attention without being annoying. Does it make sense? So that happened to be a byproduct of what's going on. So otherwise, please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you for your attention. All right, that just finished the recording. Back to Darren.
You sure you finished it? I think it still
Oh,
has...
no, I didn't.